Hi everyone. So this is Himanshu Sehgal. We are here with another uh, Insights Corner version, and this month, which was like October, we chose to talk about something very trendy, something which has come to an highlight very recently, which is obesity. So far, obesity has been considered as a lifestyle disorder, and it has never considered or never used to be considered as a disease or a disorder. Uh, uh, you know, and that's the reason there was lesser development because, again, in certain countries, and still now also, certain countries do not, consider or considered obesity as, as a chronic disease. And obviously, because of that, it was not covered in insurances. So the development was slow, and a lot of companies were not interested or did not pay heed to this problem basically. But very recently, specifically, if we talk about after the interest or after the development of semaglutide came into picture, obviously products have been approved in past. We'll talk about that, but since the approval of semaglutide or GLPs, if I may add, in the obesity space, the landscape has been evolving. Without further ado, uh, mm, we'll start with this deep dive. And if you feel that this is something which you're looking for, feel free to reach out to me. My email address is at the end or at pd@Octavus Consulting. Feel free to reach out to me. We will share the deck with you, complimentary, as you know. Or very soon it's going to be live on our website also, so you can download directly from there the presentation directly from there as well. So without further ado, let's move on with the obesity. I'll try to be as quick as possible without losing on the insights part basically. So obesity, it's a state or a condition where excess of fat deposit is there, scientifically when we say about that. So it's an overweight condition, and when someone's BMI crosses 30, they are considered obese. There are multiple reasons, or uh, for for someone to gain weight, basically. But yeah, we've tried to highlight a couple of them. Poor diet, junk food, that is something which we all listen to. Lack of physical activity combined with the kind of a lifestyle we have. Genetics is a very important factor. Then there is another factor which is very important, but very less discussed, which is medical influence, right? And then another one is the stress. Uh, Obesity alone is a huge problem, but it also comes with, or it goes side by side with different other problems such as diabetes. It aggravates or breathing problems because again, those kind of problems. Then your immune system is down because of that. You have cardiovascular issues, kidney also gets hampered, and there are multiple other reasons, right? We have also listed some key facts which you can see here, right? um, Among those key facts, I also would like to talk about why we are calling obesity as a global epidemic. Because at the moment, if you only talk about US, there are 36% of adults basically which are considered obese in the US, right? Um, as per some statistics which I have seen from FactMap and the World Fact Book, basically, it says that 2+ years of average life of US expectancy is reduced, in US, 2+ years basically, for obesity, basically, because of obesity, right? And another fact is, and which could add to, why there is a sudden change or a sudden interest in obesity, is that the market is growing. So hence the companies are also looking, um, to invest in this market, and it is expected to reach, uh, you know uh, yeah, approximately 200, over market expected to grow approximately $200 billion, and outside US, another $100 billion basically. In US, it is expected to reach 200 billion, and outside US, 100 more billions basically. So, on a nutshell, if we say that, 200 to 300, or maybe more than that as well, in some time, right? So, moving forward, let's talk about the market size. Again, I was just telling you that, right? So by estimate, we have picked this up from market research report, right? Uh, uh, Estimation is expected to reach again by 34, approximately $100 billion. But this number is something very less. I feel, because of the, you know, payer size, outcome datas, and consumer awareness, with the consumer awareness, and also consumer willing to pay out of pocket for these drugs basically. That is the reason why I feel that it constitutes to more than $200 billion basically, by 2034 basically. That's what my thought process is. And again, in 2024, the distribution was obviously North America, which includes your US, Canada. The share comes out to be 45% basically, whereas Latin America is 21%, followed by Asia Pacific, and then Europe basically. That's the distribution which we have collected. Now, moving forward, we also want to, tell you more peculiarly about, this trends, this last 5 years trend, or rather more than 5 year trend basically. So from 2020 to 2024, 5 years plus this year, 9 months trend, 10 months trend basically, shows that every year the number of deals announcing in obesity space has been increasing. So in 2020, we can see, there were 3 deals, but 21 happened to have 12 deals. We saw a dip in 2022, but that was because, um, a lot of companies did, you know, a lot of deals during the pandemic, and that was 12 deals basically. So that's why we saw a dip in, and that's what our, hypothesis, that was the reason we saw a dip in 22. But again, then after that, trend is picking up: 6, 14, 25, and this year within 10 months it has been 24. And I'm pretty sure that by end of this year, in another 2 months, which is November and December, we will see more such deals, and the number is going to be near about 30 basically, right? So, and again, in terms of deal wise distribution, right? So, if we see about deal wise distribution, we see, a lot of deals are development and commercial licensing deals, which is the maximum, which is the biggest portion, which is followed by acquisition. Uh, uh, you know, seven companies have been acquired, or molecules have been acquired. And again, I'll club direct acquisition and, the acquisition option, and so I feel that this is again a big chunk basically. Now, in terms of stage wise, if you see, maximum deals are platform and discovery deals basically, right? And you can see like 26 deals have been in platform and discovery. Right now, we have 71 active deals. Asset-wise, you can see, directly compound or company acquisition were, company business and all was 16, but compounds or drug acquisition, oh, sorry, compounds and drug overall deals related to that was 36. So I'm not just trying to blabber some numbers. What I'm trying to share is that there is a huge market which is growing up in obesity space, um, and bigger, smaller, um, mid-sized companies are developing obesity drugs. A lot of experimentation with different molecules has been happening, and we will see that all in the coming slides basically. Now also I want to highlight you towards the funding basically. So when I say funding, I have just included at this moment IPOs. We have data for other level of fundings for obviously before IPOs also. But if we just talk about IPOs in last 5 years, there have been total 15 companies who have done IPO. Again, these companies are obesity primary companies basically. Obviously, they might have other products also, but obesity primary. So total amount which was generated in IPO is is 1 point approximately $8 billion. And in last 5 years, this has increased. I mean, this has been constant. Every year we have seen approximately three, four companies every year, uh, doing IPOs basically. And even the deal value of those IPOs have been kind of consistent, which is approximately 500 million dollar approximately. Now, again, the business model wise, which you can see, top companies with IPOs, Metsera, which is I think now acquired by Novo Nordisk, then BioAge Labs, MBX, and so on and so forth. A recent we will talk about Turn Pharma also. Turn Pharma, one of the molecules is there. Right. So yeah, moving on. Again, the reason behind talking about these fundings and if we go into the series or before IPO private companies data, we will very well see that again there's a huge we have seen that data. So there's a huge demand in the market, and there are a lot of companies who are working and generated a lot of funding and done a lot of funding rounds and generated a lot of funds uh, before IPO also. So yeah, moving forward. So these are some 2025 deals. We have not gone in the past and done a lot of data analysis, but yeah, these are 2025 deals, and we've captured till October 31st. So here you can see that there has been acquisition, some are undisclosed and all. Whokeeper Pharma is working. Roche has a commercialization and license deal with Zealand. Right, Zealand has I think two or more deals basically in this year, right? And you can see some common names like Novo Nordisk is pretty common here, right? But you can also see some of the big players like AbbVie, Roche, Novo Nordisk, as I've already stated, right? Eli Lilly, Regeneron is also working. Um, Same. Novo Nordisk has been at all the places. So when if you talk about obesity or type 2 diabetes or endocrine disorders or metabolic disorders, it is you can't miss it basically. And then same goes for Eli Lilly also. Eli Lilly might have not done so many deals per se, but yeah, definitely they are doing a lot of work. Now, again, in 2025, Metsera did their IPO and recently got acquired as well. The idea was to talk about these fundings again, fundings and obesity to show you the trend and the interest in this space and how big it is happening. And the point is that how many of our players come in this space. This is a non-exhaustive space basically. Obesity is a weight management drug, and again, it has got comorbidities and it has got a lot of things. There are multiple arms to this disorder, basically. So the space is huge, and everyone gets a share of their pie, basically, right? And or expecting that. Now, moving forward. So now what we have done is just to show you, give you a glimpse. We have obviously Novo Nordisk is the biggest player, and we have tried to profile it basically, right? So it's a Danish company, Danish headquartered company. They have been into blood disorders basically, heme basically. If I talk about and the metabolic disorders basically, or endocrine disorders, that has been their primary focus, and that is what is being reflected here in their everywhere. If you see, whether you talk about their pipeline, so we have highlighted few assets of there which are phase 3 assets, basically only phase 3 assets right now. uh, Obviously lack of space, one slide. So but you can see that there are so many molecules which they are developing, and again all are either related to endocrine or obesity space, or related uh, to allied divisions like ASCVD, or and then we obviously blood disorders like hemophilia and SCD and all that, right? Um, very importantly, if you see this area specifically, obesity care 14 candidates are there. Then blood disorder again 14. Diabetes is specifically 26. So there obviously is an overlap, multiple molecules overlapping. Cardiovascular and other therapy is 14, and then rare endocrine disorder too. So if we combine actually the obesity, diabetes, and rare endocrine disorder in one space as an endocrine and metabolic disorders, so this the number of again, there are multiple common molecules, but just for the argument's sake, if we talk about the number here is close to 42, which is obviously again not a unique number, but I think, yeah, you get the picture, right? Again, in last we have taken last three deals basically, and then you can see 30th October, 15th October, and even in the October month they have done three deals which were somewhere related to metabolic disorders. You can see this basically, right? MASH. Oh, sorry. We have MASH, right? We have, incretin deal basically with Metsera. They have acquired basically Metsera just in this October. And they have another deal which is, I think, rare blood and kidney disorder. But if you talk about kidney, then again, it is related, somewhere related to obesity. But when it could be the development because of rare blood disorder also. Right, and here we have done patent protections of we have taken it from the SEC filing of and so yeah, we've not further deep down deep dive on each of the patents, but yeah, it was as per the SEC filing of or the annual report of the Novo Nordisk basically. Now, um, obviously the most prominent product, we've tried to profile that. Again, a small glimpse of Novo is there, and then about weekly dose and frequencies basically. When is the patent expiry? Again, we've taken it from the annual report or SEC filing, basically directly from the Novo Nordisk, right? Approved indication, long-term weight management, right? And to reduce risk of CV events, and then obviously MASH recently has been approved. Annual projections, approval timeline, very interesting, right? And we very recently it has gotten approval in India. So, so yeah, a lot of buzz around that. We've also tried to talk about KOLs, key opinion leaders, which have been who have been involved with the development, or who have been speaking about VKB, and especially from the Mayo Clinic. So these are like 4 5 names. Uh, yeah, and then patient advocacy groups again associated with the VKB development. Now moving on, um, we have tried to see the clinical trials. Now, this is basically has been collected from 2020 to 2025 basically, and we've extracted the data till 11th November, right? Very till last week basically, but and then you can see that at the moment there uh, in 2025 there are 161 new trials gotten registered. Obviously these are overlapping numbers also there, right? And then we have phase 3. In phase 3 we have 129 molecules, right? And again, overall, and again, only active trials geography wise, if we talk about North America 205, Europe 298, and so on and so forth, right? This is from clinical trial. But if I talk about some very peculiar numbers, um, I was going through a report from IQVIA, and then it enlisted 154 drugs in pipeline, and this data was January 2025 basically. So, and obviously by this time, this number would have been increased also. But yeah, 157 is the active, and then the number is growing very fast, right? And there are multiple uh, mechanisms of action which have been which have been on the focus. We'll talk about that later on. But yeah, this is what the number shows. And again, the what we are trying to specifically show here is the trend overall, that yeah, the numbers are increasing, and this is the focus area. This is the next big thing which people are talking about: obesity. Now, we are looking into the competitor landscape. So that's the next thing which, we've spoken about trials, we've spoken about companies, we have spoken about a lot of things. So, next, another thing comes to mind is talking about landscape. Um, the landscape is very exhaustive. We've just, the landscape is very big, basically, and GLP and GIPs and have crowded the space basically, amylins basically, and there are molecules which are the landscape is about combination. So I'll talk about that, but this is what phase 3, and again this is not an exhaustive landscape at the moment, but if we talk about so let's first talk about the marketed molecules. So we all know about Zepbound slash Manjaro. We also know about Wegovy, but there are other molecules which are in the space, just say like for example Saxenda, then MC4 of MC4 MOA, Insivri by Rhythm Pharma. We'll talk about when it got approved. These are less known molecules, but yeah, these are like 6 7 molecules which have been already approved in the obesity space, and some of them have been dominating the landscape for a very long time, but now the case have been shifted to Wegovy and Zepbound Manjaro basically. Right. Apart from that, if you see in the pipeline, there are multiple molecules which belongs to company like Novo Nordisk. You see Eli Lilly here all together, like all Eli Lilly molecules. See here we have, and again Eli Lilly molecules. Then we have Novo Nordisk is also there. BI is there. So smaller players like Ganonli Pharma, and with Chinese companies, Japanese, Korean pharma players. So this is becoming a very crowded space. But if we talk about specifically MOAs, basically, like if we talk about monospecific MOAs, GLP-1s, GIPs, amylins have been predominantly, uh, dominating this space. But if we talk about multi-specific assets, basically like assets which have dual functions or something like that, or dual MOA basically. So we have seen a lot of combinations like GLP-1 plus GIPs, GLP-1 plus glycagon, right? GLP-1 plus amylin, right? And then there is a triple one combination also, GLP-1 plus GIP-1, GIP plus glycagon, amylin plus others, FGF21 plus others, and yeah, and so on and so forth. So this is a very big space, and we are seeing a lot of development in this space. And on a daily basis, we're tracking a lot of molecules. Uh, you know, if we just talk about some others, like uh, obviously, I think to my understanding, and again, the number is not exhaustive. I'm just speaking my mind. Uh, I think GLP-1 singles basically are approximately 63 molecules across landscape, and this was something which I read or analyzed a couple of months back, basically. Right. And then amylins are the second ones, basically by I think 15 to 20 molecules, basically. So yeah, that's how the space is getting developed. Now, moving on, we have, I told you that we will be talking about the FDA approval products. Obesity, it started back in April 99, where uh, Roche, uh, Roche molecule got approved, which was a lipase inhibitor, oral molecule. Then followed by Kismia from Vivus. And then after that, the latest one is our zip bound from Eli Lilly, which got approved in 23 November 23. If I say exactly 2 years back, which was a subcut. And initially they were orals, but since Novo Nordisk started, we have seen subcutaneous, especially if I talk about GLP-1s, subcutaneous drugs. But again, the moving trend is going towards oral also. There are multiple IVs also, and yeah. So moving across, uh, I want to talk about, and we'll talk about some other also. These are long-term milestones we have captured here. Obviously, Novo Nordisk, CagriSema, we've spoken about that. Amycretin is another where they will launch phase 3 program in adult in quarter 1 of 2026. Eli Lilly, then again, readout is expected in 2025, this year probably, or very early of 2026. So yeah, and then we have I think Meritide. I think it got failed or something, or wrong results. I'm not sure. I read it somewhere. But yeah, I think the readout is to be expected in 2027. I guess. So yeah, moving on. Some of the for public listed companies, some of the upcoming catalysts, we have noted here is, and we have just covered basically another 9 months, this quarter, and half of the year of first 2026, basically. We have calculations for these. We have and data backing that when can this the assumptions, these are not purely assumptions, basically these are calculated numbers of each event. So yeah, this is the nearest one, if I talk about, is Pfizer's, which is phase 2 data, right? And the farthest one, if I talk about, is as per our understanding, is Zealand and Boehringer's deal, where they are expected to do a phase 3 readout, right? So these are big announcements, or big updates which are going to come, and these are only public listed companies, and for next 9 months or 3 quarters, you can say, next 3 quarters. Moving on. We also wanted to talk about, we have been talking about GLP a lot. But obesity is also beyond GLP molecules. So we try to, talk about just three molecules, but the numbers are obviously higher. Europharm Labs molecule, which is in phase 3 right now, right? Which is an SNRI inhibitor basically, and it is a plant study. Phase 3 is a plant study. Then we have Eli Lilly's molecule, which is amylin agonist. Phase 2 is completed. Then we have bimagrumab. Again, phase 2, active not recruiting. They have already recruited patients. So yeah. Then now we've spoken about multiple companies. So we need to talk about trends also, right? So talking about trends. For example, one important is therapy trends, right? So GLP-1 agonists like semaglutide demonstrated 15% or more average weight loss in the clinical trials, and so on and so forth. So, dual and triple agonist drugs, which I've already spoken, right? So, those are the therapy trends. Then there are financial highlights basically between 2024 to 35. It's expected to, again, this is some other report saying something else, which is by it is expected to grow between 13 to 15%. My personal analysis says that it is going to go beyond $130 billion, right? Eli Lilly's, saw an increase by 54%. Only anti-obesity drug, which has become like their zip bound or Manjaro basically, $17 billion. Or first half of 2025, $6 billion basically, right, in first half only. So there, that's that. Then epidemiological patterns. In 2010, the numbers, right, in men and women were, so across, years, 2015 and 30, you can see these are drastically increasing every kind of 5 years, 10 years. They are, increasing to, double basically, right? So that's an epidemiological pattern basically, and again, it's a trend. Then there are digital trends like auto injector market is increasing, right? Companies like Yepsomed and Sidekick Health have become, platforms, health platforms for obesity care basically. Yepsomed auto injector is a smart auto injector, right? And then yeah, so auto injector market, because again we have subcuts basically, a lot of subcuts being developed. So definitely one would need an auto injector for sure in coming times. So that's also. Now here what we have tried to do is we have tried to show. I know this looks funny and there's no objectification here, but yeah, we've tried to show the conferences which happened this year. Close to 14 conferences which were focused on obesity alone. Obviously, there were ADA also, which was about diabetes, but it covered obesity as well, which we have not listed here, just because we were talking only about obesity, right? So moving on, this we try to show Obesity Week's planner. This is a glimpse of our planner, what we created for for coverage basically. Now, some key highlights from Obesity Week this year, which was like especially from Novo Nordisk, first obviously biggest player in this space. So they presented a lot of papers, but we highlighted only we've spoken about three only right now. One is about again CagriSema. Basically, they have presented the phase 3 redefine. Redefine one study basically, which post hoc analysis, right? And they also presented OSS4 study, which is again a phase 3 study uh, talking about semaglutide 25 mg, right? And then again, I think Wegovy in a pill basically. And then Novo Nordisk, also presented I think, an RWE study, or you can say a phase 3B study, basically, which a step up study, basically, uh, which talks about the real world evidences, basically. Now, we also captured some studies which are outside Novo Nordisk, so Paladin. They presented PL7737, which is, you know, which an early asset, basically preclinical early asset molecule, right? And then Metavy phase 1 molecule, which is DA1726 for obesity, right? And this presented two studies, basically, right? So this, you can results, you can see the summary of these, and we have the posters, and a detailed analysis also. Now, this is something which is very interesting. This online assessment is basically done by Civic Science. Basically, they've done multiple studies which are related to obesity. If they're very interesting read. These are very thought through studies, basically. So a big shout out to them. And so yeah, we have taken one study, and then we've tried to see what they said. So the left hand, the left hand one, it speaks about, the question was, if you used to take GLP-1 medication, Ozempic or Wegovy, for weight loss but no longer do, what are the reasons for stopping it? And it was select all apply kind of a survey. And one biggest point which came out was cost and insurance coverage, which I spoke about very initially. So approximately 30% individuals said that they're not taking GLP-1 because of cost, because it's of highly expensive, and then obviously lack of insurances. These surveys, I think, not I think, these surveys were done in US, basically, right? And this number was earlier, I mean, in 2024. In early 2024, this number was 22%, and now which has grown to approximately 30%, basically, which you can see in the August month, it was 31%, and then in, I think, yeah, so this is something which you can see. Like, the survey was conducted between uh, August 25 4 to I think June 25, basically. So starting last year August, it was 31%, and it has just come down to 27%. So hardly any difference, basically. And then over the year it has been fluctuating, and then shortage and excess issue is rising. So obviously the demand is increasing, but, and even you might have all, I mean, because you guys are from the industry, you might have heard this, that last year uh, Novo Nordisk decided to invest in the production, in upgrading the production, basically, of their semaglutide, Wegovy, and Ozempic, basically, right? Uh, um, so yeah, that's also the reason that there is a shortage. There is an increased demand, and obviously, in June it became June 25, it became 23%. The demand has increased by 23%, whereas it was 17% in December. So we have gradually seeing a huge demand, basically, over the year, and then shortage, you can see shortage and difficult to access. This is the thick line, thick maroon line, basically, is what is showing, and blue, uh, sky blue, small, thin line shows about the insurance thing. Now, there are multiple other reasons that uh, some have made their active weight gain loss. The negative side effect is also on the on a higher side, basically. So yeah, moving on to the middle one, which talks about which type of product would you be more interested in if they are designed specifically for GLP-1 users. So this is if you're currently on GLP-1, right, and what kind of other products. So as I was telling that obesity market is not limited only obesity. There are a lot of other things, right? So this survey shows that people are looking for obviously the highest one is uh, desired product for dietary products and wellness related things basically, which has shown demand increase in demand. Then tailor-made products for 50% of GLP-1, more than 50% said that they are looking for tailor-made or very specific products basically. um, and one out of three users discovered that that there are marketed products which are GLP specific, right? Right. Allied products, I would say, right? So yeah, this is a very interesting trend to see, and again, it talks about that obesity just not only talks about obesity as a market or obesity as a therapy area, does not only involve drugs. It is above and beyond and has additional things to it basically, right? Now um, then there is another question was that which of the following activities do you do for self-care? Select all that applies, right? So they have divided into two parts: GLP-1 current users and lookalike segments basically, right? So GLP-1 very clearly says that GLP-1 users favor active self-care, so they are more up and in terms of exercising, movies, and uh, obviously the so these are maybe for a pharma company these might not be directly, but indirectly, yes, these all factors definitely play a role, specifically when you're designing maybe the patient support programs for your drugs basically, right? Or patient engagement programs and all that. So this survey gives you very good insights. There were multiple others but I selected only these three for the moment. So yeah, and this is about it. Octavus, I'll briefly talk about us. So Octavus is a business consulting. We have divided our offerings into three spaces: business intelligence, market research, and data analytics. We do CI monitoring, conference coverages, and then in market research, we do quant qual, ATU programs, KOL identification and mapping, basically, right? And concept testing, product testing. We have done a lot on that. Even actually in the obesity and the diabetes space, we have done decent work with there. And then we have data analytics where sales-based dashboards, social media analytics, and yeah, so on and so forth, and obviously in forecasting. And his our team who has been behind these analysis every month. So yeah, thank you so much for viewing this, and feel free to reach us if you require any support on your existing, strategies or related work, CI, market research, or something like that. We'll be more than happy to provide you support. My email address is here, and or you can reach out to my anyone in my team basically, and they'll be happy to guide you. Thank you.